What's up, brother? What's up, sister? My name Bill. I went to prison when I was 19 for making poor decisions. Spent 9 years, got out at the age of 28. During my time in prison, I've seen and been around people that were sexually assaulted. I've seen more murders with my own two eyes, brutal murders, people getting stabbed up, more than I can count on both hands and both toes. I've seen so much corruption. I've seen people get so depressed and commit suicide. My brothers and sisters, I'm just encouraging y'all to the best of your ability, try to do the right thing, man. Stay out them jails, stay out them prisons. It's not worth it because you could go in and never make it out. What up, though, y'all? It's your boy Bill. Let's do it. So listen, bro. It was this girl that worked in the prison, of course. When I say, bro, I was on her bumper for probably, 3-4 months straight. Every time I see her, I'm saying something slick. What's up, chocolate? What's up, juicy? What's up? Ooh, girl, I love your hair. Oh, your teeth so pretty. Ooh, everything. I'm on her bumper. I even tried it one day, like, man, let me pay for that hair next time. It's on me. And when you say stuff like that to an officer, I don't give a damn what the response is. If it's anything besides calling the code, telling on you, in my mind, I'm convinced that you keep it up, you might be successful one day. And I'm the type of person that when I know I'm on something or I want something, but I don't stop. Like, you have to boldly, straight up shut it down. Now, it's a little different in this situation because I'm an inmate, you're an officer, you took an oath, this your job, you can't mess up your job for dealing with an inmate. I understand that. So it's going to take a little more than boldly telling me no. I don't give a damn if that sounds contradicting. It is what it is. Now, out here in the real world, if I go holler at a female, she'll be like, nah, I'm not interested, whatever. Okay, I'd never say nothing else to you again. Have a nice day, ma'am. But in the prison, it's a little different because, of course, you're going to say that to inmates. There's 1,000 niggas trying to talk to you. So I didn't let up. Even the days I don't want to go to chow, I don't want to go eat because I know that shit nasty and I'm loaded in here with good food. And she's working, but in a different building, I'm going to chow. Just because I want to see her, I want to cross paths with her, all that. So I went to chow this day. I see her out there, bro. I'm talking about, I don't know why I was so fucked up about this girl. I just had to have her. And I had heard rumors of her talking to another dude that was locked up before. And, I said, well, she is. And he had the bald head too. So I said, that put me in the game mode. We coming back from the chow. She's standing out there at the gate. So I'm walking all up in front of all these niggas. I'm trying to get up there first. So I'm like far up away from my dorm. And she's standing at the gate, getting ready to unlock it. So soon I walk up, she talking about, bald head, what's up? That motherfucker shining today, ain't it? I say, hell yeah, it can shine a little harder. You rub on it a little bit. So she's going to do this like from the other side of her gate, acting like she rubbing my head. I say, nah, I'm talking about for real. She said, see, you know how to fuck up a good moment. You can't even take a joke and just let it be a little jokey joke. You always got to try to throw some little extra shit on it. So I put my hands on the gate like this and I leaned in and she was close to the gate on that side. And I leaned in like this, like I'm trying to kiss her. So she was like, boy? I was like, what, babe? She was like, my name is Miss, we just gonna call her CarMax, because I'm looking at this car in front of me and it say CarMax. So her fucking name is Miss CarMax. So she was like, boy? But she was smiling, but looking like this. And I was like, come on, Miss CarMax. And I'm leaning on the gate. These niggas still ain't walked all the way up yet. I'm like, come on, Miss CarMax, quit doing your mind like that. She was like, boy? But she still smiling. So I know I'm still in it. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, nah, let me stop playing. But look, so I'm on the gate. I'm like, babe, come on, man, Miss CarMax, fuck that. Your name is C. Bill. You know what I'm saying? So she just laughing and stuff. And I was like, your hair so pretty. I like the way your hair is. And she was like, thank you. You be sweet when you want to be, but you be just taking shit too far. You be doing too much. I was like, huh, I'm doing too much. I said, man, I nigga just be wanting to talk to you. I be missing you and shit. She like, boy, you don't be missing me. I'm like, I'm dead serious. Like, when I be in the dorm, chilling, go take me a shower, get me something good to eat, and I go kick back, get on my phone, man, I be thinking about you, man. I done seen you on Facebook and everything. I just ain't hit you out of respect, you know what I'm saying? She talking about, boy, you ain't seen me on no damn Facebook. I said, yes, I did. She talking about, Bill, I don't even got a Facebook account. I said, tried the Flynnex. That's something niggas used to say, like, when you catch somebody lying. I was like, tried the Flynnex. Basically saying you tried to flex, but you just put a little extra grave on it. So she started laughing. She was like, what my profile picture look like? I said, you got blue braids, and that shit sexy as hell. It looked ghetto and ratchet because the color, but that shit sexy. She just bust out laughing. She was like, boy, you is a real stalker. I was like, I'm saying, do I got permission to send you a message on there? She was like, hell no. So them niggas was getting a little closer. So I was like, go on, unlock the gate, because these niggas coming up. So she unlocked the gate. So when I walked through first, I said, you see how daddy told you to unlock that gate and you just unlocked it? She just bust out laughing, putting her hand over her face. She couldn't control herself. So the niggas was getting a little closer now. I was like, what's up? So I got permission to DM you, to hit you on Messenger. She said, no, boy, you can't do that. You know, when we take our oath and sign our contracts and shit, at any point, if they suspicious and they want to go through our social media, we have to let them or we immediately fired. I need my job. I can't lose my job. I said, what if I hit you from a burner account? She was like, hell no, boy. So them niggas was walking up, so I had to goddamn keep walking. I was like, all right, babe, I'll see you later on. She was just like, boy, something is really wrong with you. I said, you said, daddy, what? You gonna miss me too? And she said, boy, something is really wrong with you. So I kept walking. This was a three-day week. Second day, I go out there again. I'm like, I gotta keep trying. When we get to the end of the yard, they got these little like flowers, like the yellow flowers that done grew, right at the end. It's probably about 3 of them. So I pluck all 3 of them out the ground. I just got them on my side. So I take all 3 of them out the ground. I'm just trying to hold them careful, like in my hand without really balling my hand up while we're going through the thing. Especially if one of them other officers see it, they'll try to take it on some lame shit. What you got flowers for? You know what I'm saying? So when we come back around and we get back in front of her building, I pull my same move. So she was like, Bill. So I was like, what's up? She was like, don't come over here with that bullshit today. Now I've been having a good day. Don't come over here with your bullshit. I said, no, I got something for you. She was like, what the hell you got for me? I said, real shit, I got something for you. She was like, what? And I pulled all 3 of them. I went to a motherfucking professional florist and had these bitches made for you. And she died laughing. I stuck them through the fence. She took them, though. She was like, you went to the florist, Bill? I said, hell yeah, just for you. She was like, oh, you so sweet. You so sweet. Then she took them bitches, threw them on the ground and stepped on them. I don't want them goddamn flowers. I said, you an ungrateful motherfucker. And then she just started laughing. Deputy Warden Gallant was coming up, so when he walked up, I was like, that's good, though. So is you think about, like, trying out for sergeant or something, try to get some more rank? She was like, I don't know if I want to do sergeant or not. That's a lot of responsibility. The nigga walk up, jump straight in the conversation. It's a lot of responsibility, Miss CarMax. But one thing about it, you gonna be successful and you will feel more proud of yourself. And the Department of Corrections will make a real big post letting everybody know that you got promoted. And I'm sure your family will be more proud of you. And she was like, yeah, that's right. You right, Gallant. You right. He was like, don't let me through this gate. Now I got to go on down here to the tier program. Them boys been throwing shit on them officers yesterday. And I got to take them boys this shit. He had a bunch of like buckets of like bleach, disinfectant, cleaning stuff on his car. So she let him through the gate. He walked off. She was like, I can't stand that nigga. I was like, shit, a lot of people can't. It is what it is. I said, but fuck all that. Back to what me and Bay was talking about. And she was like, boy, you just ain't gonna stop, is you? I was like, hell no. She was like, Bill, I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. If the circumstances was different, if we was on the streets and you approached me with this same energy, I would 100% give you a chance. I would fuck with you. She was like, but it's just this. She was like, boy, how much more time you got? And I'm looking at her teeth was so pretty. Her skin was just shining and chocolatey. She was like, boy, how much more time you got? I was like, shit, however much time you need me to have. She was like, you see how you don't take nothing serious. All you do is play. I said, no, listen, Miss CarMax. If you want me there today, I'm breaking out this bitch today. So she started laughing. She was like, I can't take you serious. I was like, nah, for real. I got about 2 years and some change or something like that. So she was like, and don't you got a little girlfriend running around here somewhere? I said, hell no. She was like, shit, they done talked about y'all in the conference room. It be all kind of rumors going on around saying you got a little girlfriend. I said, man, that's just what it is, a rumor. Motherfuckers just saying unverified information. You know how that shit go. She was like, I was like, all them rumors going on around here about you, even though them ain't no rumors, them facts. She was like, what the fuck they saying about me? I said, you know what's going on around here with your name all in it. She was like, what? I said, everybody's saying, and this is something that I know is a fact. This ain't no they lying on you. Nah, this is a fact. She was like, what? I was like, everybody be saying you deal with an inmate named Bill and y'all married and you pregnant by him with triplets and all kind of shit. She bust out laughing. She said, boy, you is delusional. Your ass is delusional. You know, we just kick it, talk a little bit more. The niggas come up. I got to walk off. So that third day, I get up, brush my teeth, wash my face. I hear somebody scream, stand by for child. I'm like, hold on. That shit sound like me. CarMax voice. Hold on now. I stick my head out the door. I see her walking back out, going back into the booth. So I got to double check after I done wash my face, make sure I got shit out my eyes and shit. So I go out there. I say, ain't this about a bitch? She said, boy, here you go. When they told me what dorm I'm working today, I said, oh shit, Bill finna be on my ass. And she had some McDonald's in the bag she was pulling out. I said, ain't this about a bitch? They done brought her man some breakfast. We finna go on a breakfast date. This is insane. So she started laughing, telling me how crazy I am. So she pulled out the hash brown, bit it. I was like, shit, let me get a bite of that motherfucker. She was like, mm-mm. And then she was doing like this, and when she got done, she was like, you ain't about to fuck up my job. I was like, ain't nobody finna fuck up your job. They called something on the radio, and she said, Bill, tell them boys, come on for child, come on. I was like, you gonna let me get a bite of that hash brown? She was like, I'll break you a piece off the back. I'll break you a piece off the back, but tell them child. I said, I don't want a piece off the back. I want to bite it right there off the same place you bit it. She was like, boy, you nasty. I went walking back to my room, and I was like, child call, everybody, child call. Officer said, y'all got 2 minutes. Come on, child call. She didn't even say that. I just wanted their ass up out of there. So I walked back to my room for a minute, let them clear out, because I ain't want niggas just seeing me all right there the whole time, you know what I'm saying? So when everybody leave out who going to chow, you know, it's hella people not going. They just still in their room. They ain't studying that shit. When everybody leave out who going to chow, that's when I go back over there. And the door's still open. So I go back over there. The door's still, you know, it ain't wide open, of course. It's like right there on the lock, crack. So I push through it and step on the salad pole, and I walk up to the door. She was looking at me. I was like, come out here. She was like, boy, I don't want to be out there. I said, man, bring your ass out here with your man. And she was like, you is not my man, Bill. You better stop saying that shit for somebody to hear you. I said, well, let me get my piece of the hash brown then. She was like, looking around. She was like, I'll give it to you through the flap. Go back in there. I said, man, hell no. Come outside, man. That flap shit. Them niggas looking and shit, paying attention and shit. She came to the door. She was like, she popped the door and she cracked it open a little bit. And she had the hash brown in her hand. She was like, okay, I'm going to break it from this end. I say, hell no, man. Let me. So I said, I'm about to try some shit. I'm finna try to grab her hand and rotate it. And if she let me do it, I'm about to mash the gas some more. So I grabbed her hand while the hash brown in her hand. She was like, boy, don't be touching me. But she didn't snatch her hand back. So I turned the hash brown this way, the part she bit, and I started doing it like that. She was like, ugh, if you bite that, you is so nasty. You don't know where my mouth be, and you don't know if I brushed my teeth this morning or none of that. I ain't studying none of that shit she talking about. I pulled the hash brown up to my face, and I bit it. And when I bit it, I purposely made sure my lips brushed against her fingers and stuff. And then she was like, ugh, boy, you so nasty. And I was like, appreciate that, babe. You just had breakfast with your man. You don't understand how that just made my day. You know what I'm saying? She like, Bill, what you locked up for? I said, I got her. You asking all these questions. I know you could just pull me up in the system and see it, but she want to hear it personally. I said, what I look like I'm locked up for? She said, you look like you killed somebody. I say, damn, I look like that? She was like, boy, you be looking mean. Your ass like, if you wasn't talking to me or something, like how you be talking to me, I think your ass mean as hell. Like I probably would never say nothing to you. I think you would cuss my ass out. I was like, man, they been saying that shit since I was a teenager, man. Hell no, I ain't mean or nothing like that. Like I'm a cool nigga. But I told her I'm locked up for armed robbery. So we just got to talk about my case and all that. Then I shifted into my life, how old I was when I did this and all this shit like that. So I was like, look, Miss CarMax, look, for real though, on some real shit. What if you could talk to me, right? And what if it was a possibility that 100% I don't give a fuck what they go through, who phone records they pull. What if there's a way I can ensure you 1,000% it could never be linked to you, you could never get caught up in it, none of that? What if I could really prove that to you? And she was undoing her sandwich, and she was like, I'm listening, and she bit the sandwich. I said, what if you go to Walmart or to the dollar store, you buy you a little track phone. You give me the number to the track phone, and then I talk to you on the track phone when you're not at work. And what that would do is, even if my phone get knocked off and they go through it, trying to see who I'm talking to, the track phone number will be in there. That shit ain't in your name, it ain't in nobody's name, and you ain't got to worry about them calling it, trying to set an officer up, trying to see who it is, because you're an officer. So you will know when a nigga phone get knocked off, because they tell y'all, they talk about it. So she was like, that's kind of smart. That's kind of a smart idea. So I'm like, yeah, man, woo. So she was like, okay, I'm going to buy one. I'm going to let you know. I said, nah, that's what I'm going to do. I already had my number wrote down. Sometimes I used to do that. I'd write my number down on a tiny piece of paper about 4 or 5 times and just had that shit in my pocket. Just because I know the officers was gone. If I catch the right one, it's already ready. So I was like, look, I got my number wrote down already. I said, once you buy the track phone, just text me or call me or something. So she was like, boy, why do you got your number wrote down already? So you was just that confident that I was going to take your number. I said, yeah. And she was like, and started smiling. But I know women like niggas that's confident, so that was a good thing for me. All day went by, it's smooth. When them niggas was back, I was still talking to her, saying little slick stuff to her, but it was limited. Like I said, I wasn't never really trying to do too much in front of people, because that's when niggas realize what you got going on, and that's when all the snitching come into play and all that type of stuff. When it's shift change time, I'm down there by the booth talking to her through the flap and shit. Then we stepped out on the little salad pole area, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, how tall you is? She like 5'4". I'm like, that shit perfect. She told me, how tall you is, bald head? I was like, I'm 5'11", down there 6 feet, really 5'11 and a half. So she laughing. So the replacement people who about to take over the shift come walking. She was like, oh, let me go and get my shit ready. I said, you gonna give your man a hug before you leave? She was like, Bill. I said, what? She said, boy, you ain't my man. I said, since the fuck when we broke up? And she died laughing. She just thought a nigga was so funny. And so I came back in. She told me to come back in because the other officers, if they lame as hell, they'll go try to tell the supervisor, yeah, y'all might need to watch her. She had that one inmate out there. They do shit like that. I was on the other side of the booth, so when the lady walking up, getting closer, she popped the end gate for her to come up through, and she was walking closer to the booth. I was just like, all right, babe, I'll see you later on. And then she cut her eyes at me. I was like, damn, babe, you ain't gonna tell your man bye? You ain't gonna say bye, babe, or nah? See you later, babe, or nah? Talk to you later, daddy, or nah? And she was like, see, I was just finna give you a little bit of satisfaction, but you always push me. I said, give me some satisfaction, baby. And she was looking at me. She was like, why would you say it like that, looking at me like that? I said, we ain't got that much time. This lady walking up here right now. Give your man some satisfaction. And then when the lady got right to the booth, right before she hit the button to pop it, she gonna look at me and say, see you later, babe. And then she popped the thing and then died laughing, walking out. So I said, okay. So the new officer that came in, I talked shit with her for a minute too, just so it don't seem weird, like he walk off soon as I walk in, what they was talking about. So I'm like, what's up, Miss such and such, you all right? I said, okay, now, you ain't hurt nobody, did it? It was an older lady. I'm just talking shit, kicking it. The girl left. Bro, when she left, it was not 1 full hour. Not 1 full hour. My phone was ringing from a number that I didn't know. I answered, yo, bald head. I say, what the fuck? That was quick. I say, see, that's how I know you love your man. You handled that business fast. And she bust out laughing. She said, nah, actually, I already had a little throwaway phone. This a flip phone. I said, what the fuck you already had one for? I said, oh, hell no, you cheating already. I ain't got time for this. And she started laughing. She told me something, boy, ain't no damn body cheating. I just had it just because I was dealing with somebody crazy out here before on the streets. And it just was a long story. I'll tell you later, but I already had one. She was like, boy, I ain't used this phone in probably a year. I just had to add $25 to the account to activate the service again. I say, damn, so hold on. You spent quality time with me today. You bought me breakfast today. Then you just went out your way to spend $25 to activate a service? I say, man, fuck that. We getting married next week. So she died laughing. Like I say, she just thought a nigga was so funny. She bust out laughing. While I'm talking to her, this other young individual that it was like off and on, bro, because she just toxic. Like the one who calling, like she's calling right now, but she's toxic, bro. She was from Florida. She got fired from 2 prisons in Florida. Once they say I was doing some sexual things with an inmate. I ain't never did that. And she's lying. And then she say somebody was saying they think she bringing in a pack. But me and this girl done argued so much, cussed each other out, all kind of stuff. So we don't really talk that much. But when we talk, it be like homeboy, homegirl. Even though, we say little slick stuff to each other. It more so be cordial. You know what I'm saying? So she calling, I'm not answering. She calling me 5, 6, 7 times, back to back to back to back to back to back. I'm not answering. So she texts me and say, bet. So I'm like, man, go head on somewhere. So And we gonna call her Miss PowerAid, because I got a PowerAid right here. I keep talking to Miss CarMax, you know what I'm saying? We ride out, bro. We ride out for probably about 2 hours. She telling me about her life. She telling me about her friends, about how she had an about how she had a miscarriage twice. You know, just the struggles and stuff she been through in life and all that type of stuff. And we vibing, bro. Next thing you know, Miss PowerAid gotta call me again. Back to back, back to back, back to back. So I tell Miss CarMax, I'm like, hey baby, give me a second. I gotta handle something real quick. Let me call you right back. So she was like, all right. I answer for Miss PowerAid. I'm like, what's up, folks? Bitch, why the fuck your bald-headed ass, ugly, dog face, muffin face looking ass ain't answer the phone? She just thought she was young, folks. She was like 21. I don't even think she was 21, G. I think the girl was like 20. So I'm like, Miss PowerAid, what the hell do you want, G? Why you keep blowing my phone up? She was like, motherfucker, you seen me over there on the walk the other day? I was looking right at you, and I saw you all up in Miss CarMax's face. You act like you ain't motherfucking see me. That bitch ugly anyway. Well, you an ugly motherfucker too, so I guess y'all make a perfect couple. I said, bro, ain't nobody studying no damn Miss CarMax, folks. What is you talking about, bro? I said, what you calling me like we go together or something, folks? You know what's up, whatever. She was like, nigga, you always my nigga. Shut up. I don't care about none of that. I said, well, if I'm always your nigga, why you ain't brought that pack in yet? She was like, nah, I ain't doing it. I said, well, I ain't your nigga then. She said, have Miss CarMax bring it. I said, I will. Fuck it. Whoop-de-doo. She just toxic, bro. She want to argue. She want to be toxic. And then after I calm all that toxic, want to be gangster shit down, she go to talking sweet, talking about she missed me. She wish we could pick back up from where we picked back up at. Then she wanted to get on video chat, put that thing in the camera, thought that was going to persuade me, even though it did look interesting. She just too toxic and stupid, bro. I ain't got time for her, bro. So I talked to her for a little minute, and I'm just like, hey, baby, I got a couple contracts on this phone, man. I got to move this phone around. She was like, nigga, you do not be selling phone time. Stop damn lying. I say, listen, I'm telling you, ever since my motion slowed up and that situation happened with Lil Shawty, I ain't been real. I've been buying shit off the land now. I've been buying shit off the land. I mean, I got to do what I got to do to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? She was like, all right, call me back or whatever. I was all right, for sure. Called Miss CarMax back ASAP. So we go back to talking. So Miss CarMax was like, one of your little girlfriends was on the phone. I said, hell no, man. I just had to handle something in here with these niggas and shit. So she like, oh, okay. So we just kicking it. So Miss CarMax off for the next 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Miss PowerAid acting so dumb, bro. She didn't keep blowing up the phone. Then she came to the dorm. She not even working this dorm. My door go to click and I come out the room. I see her in there with the other officer. They cool with each other. I'm like, bro, you just be having too much going on. So I go over there. I'm like, what's up? She popped the door. I step out there on the salad pole. As soon as I step out, she talking about something. Boy, I should grab your bars and squeeze and twist them motherfuckers till they fall off. I said, yo ass tweaking, G. Something wrong with you. I was like, give me a hug, bro. She was like, man, them nose ass niggas in there. So we moved over to the part where only the officer that's in the booth can see. But the officer, her homegirl, she with all the shits. I know she be dropping for sure. So I hugged Miss PowerAid, grabbing that thing. And then I felt bad. I'm like, damn, I kind of like Miss CarMax, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, this shit took a long time to get Miss CarMax, man. Like, I ain't do all that persuading on that girl top for months just to go back to Miss PowerAid, dumbass, you know what I'm saying? I sit there, we talking for a little minute. She leaves. She was like, I just came over here. I had to grab some gloves. I act like I was grabbing some gloves. I just had to come see my man. So I'm like, all right, for sure. So she walk off. So when I go back in, the other officer is packing her shit up. It looked like she packing her stuff up. So I'm like, oh, hell no. Where the hell you think you finna go? She was like, nah, you know, they short down there on the tier. So they about to move me over there. I said, who the hell coming over here? She said, I don't know. One of them damn officers done picked up some overtime. They told me just wait till the other officer get here. Then they want me to go work the tier program. She was like, I don't know. I think it's, what's that damn girl name? Miss CarMax. I think she picked up some overtime. Who? I said, Miss CarMax. She said, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I talked to her for a few more seconds. I go back to the room. I go to calling Miss CarMax back. Calling her back. No answer. Phone just ringing. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go back up there by the door. I see Miss CarMax walking up the walk with her bag in her hand. I'm like, ah, shit. Not while Miss PowerAid stupid ass here. She get in there. I walk up to the thing. I said, what the fuck? She said, surprise. I said, you don't surprise me? She was like, yeah, I picked up an extra shift, man. I missed you. I ain't gonna lie. I started missing you. I was like, damn. You know, I'm talking to her and shit. We just talking for a long time. Then we went to talk about money. She was asking me, like, how did this shit work in here? And I was just explaining everything to her, breaking everything down to her, letting her know how it go, you know what I'm saying, ways to do shit, whoop, whoop, whoop. And she was like, I ain't gonna lie, if I ever did something, I'd just be too scared to just be doing shit, like bringing large amounts of shit, you know, to help nigga make money. She was like, I'd rather just help satisfy you. I was like, what you mean? She was like, you smoke? I was like, yeah, here and there. She was like, what you smoke? I was like, Chris Brown. I used to smoke Al Green real heavy, but I can't no more. That shit had me tripping. I was like, but I smoke me some Chris Brown. She was like, so I'm saying, like, if I know my nigga like Chris Brown CDs, I probably go buy you a pack of Newports and slowly just bring you a couple of them because it's so small. I feel like I could hide that so easy. You know what I'm saying? And that's just to help you, but I wouldn't just be bringing in no large packs and stuff. I was like, you gonna bring me some Chris Brown, baby? She was like, I might. And I just was like, sheesh. So, you feel me? We talking. I done came out on the salad poke. She the only one in there. I'm talking to her, trying to get her to give me a hug. So she like, man, these niggas gonna whoop, whoop, whoop. So I'm explaining. I gotta explain this shit to her. The supervisors that be on the walk, this is what they can see. This is how the angles and stuff they can see. And ain't none of them on the walk right now. I said, if you stand to this angle and align with this door and that bathroom door, I said, these niggas right here can't see that. The only way a nigga can see that is if he walk all the way up to this glass from the inside of the dorm, and we'll see a nigga walking up from 1,000 miles away. I said, but guess what the most important part of this is? She was like, what? I was like, all this talking we doing right now, I could have been got my little hug. It could have been over with. So she started laughing. She was like, I'm just so scared. But she aligned herself with where I told her to stand at. So I looked around, looked behind me, all angles, and I just went in and hugged it real tight, grabbed that thing. That thing softer than Miss PowerAid. Oh my God. That thing was amazing. She was like, what? So I'm like, man, your ass crazy. So she was like, As soon as she said, I started acting like I'm dancing or something, just because I'm aware that somebody's walking up. So I'm making it look like I didn't just hug her. You know what I'm saying? I was just doing some shit like this. And when I turned, it was Miss PowerAid walking up. She looking crazy. She looking at me, mugging me up and down, looking at Shawty. So I go walking back in the door. And she like, what's up, Bill? What you got going? I said, ain't shit. Cool. She was like, She walked over there. She was like, you got some gloves over here? So Miss CarMax was like, she went in there, grabbed a couple pair of gloves. So when she walked into the booth, she was like, oh, this your bitch? This who you fucking with? I say, man, hell no. Chill out, bro. Don't start that shit, bro. She was like, I just saw you hugging a bitch, you dumb, ugly, dog-faced bitch. I said, bro, chill the fuck out, bro. I ain't just hugged nobody. G, your ass tweaking. So she came out with the gloves, and when she handed it to her, Miss PowerAid snatched it real hard and turned around and walked off. So Shawty was like, Miss PowerAid, you all right? She turned around. She was like, hell yeah, I'm all right. What you mean? She was like, I'm saying, girl, why the hell you snatched the gloves from me? Miss PowerAid turned around and walked off. I was just like, fuck. So she was like, the fuck wrong with that bitch? I was like, man, I don't know. She was like, you fuck with her or something? You be talking to her? And I just didn't want to lie, bruh. But I didn't want to tell the truth, and then she cut me off. But I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to tell her. So I was like, bruh, this the God honest truth. And I'm going to tell you this because I don't want you to feel like I'm one of them type niggas that got too much going on. I said, me and that girl used to talk long time ago, folk. We ain't had nothing going on in a long time. And her ass just crazy like that, folk. Like, I don't know what the fuck wrong with that girl. Her ass crazy. She was like, I don't like that, B. I was like, nah, what. So we trying to talk for a minute. She told me to go back in the dorm. She was dead serious. Went in the salad post, sat down. I was like, fuck, I done fucked up. I go back in the dorm. I leave her alone for about an hour. I come back out talking to her. She telling me that shit hurt her feelings. She thought I was the type nigga that wouldn't even be. I'm like, listen, if that's before I met you, how the hell you gonna be talking about some shit hurt your feelings? You acting like me and you know, just been dumb locked in, and then I'll be talking to you, then go to her. She was like, nah, it got me wondering when you be clicking over and talking about you gonna call me back and all this. I'm like, nah, baby, it ain't like that with the rule. Everything was smooth that day, and I got me another hug from Miss CarMax before she left. So she called me when she get back to the car or whatever. Bro, when I answer the phone and say hello, all I hear is, bitch, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Leave me the fuck alone, bitch. You ain't seen me hug no fucking inmate. Stop saying that dumbass shit. Like, leave me alone, bitch. And then you can hear Miss PowerAid on the other hand. Bitch, I beat your motherfucking ass, bitch. Ugly ass, bitch. You Daffy Duck, Looney Tune looking bitch. So I'm like, bro, drive off, bro. What the fuck are you doing, G? So she pull off and she crying. She telling me that Miss PowerAid just was talking shit to her in the parking lot, talking about I'm her man. We gonna be together when I get out and she better leave me alone. All this dumbass shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? So While I'm talking to her, Miss PowerAid started calling. I'm like, man, this hoe calling right now. Let me chump that bitch off one time real quick. So she was like, Bill, if you serious about what you said, because I do like you and I kind of fuck with you and I done started growing attached to you. Like, nigga, you got me picking up extra shifts on my days off. She said, if that bitch calling you and you really fuck with me, everything you said is true, put me on three-way, I'll mute my phone. Put me on three-way. I want to hear the conversation because I don't want you to be lying and playing with me. What the fuck I got to lose? Fuck Miss PowerAid. I'm taking CarMax more serious. I tell her mute the phone, I three-way. I answer. I'm like, yo, you ugly bitch. All this shit she talking. Yo, ugly ass bitch was outside. I should have just beat that whole ass. All this and this and this. So I let her get off. I let her talk. When she got done, I say, listen, Miss PowerAid. Folks, I don't know what you got going on, G. You know for sure me and you ain't been having nothing going on in such and such long. Yeah, we talk from time to time. We kick it. We talk a little shit. But, bruh, you know it ain't like that and it ain't been like that in a long time. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, folks? Like, what is your issue? Like, what is your issue? Yeah, you right. You right. Fuck you. You could go have that ugly ass bitch. I'm finna fuck with one of them niggas in your dorm. And I'm finna fuck with one of them blood niggas. Yeah, right in your face. I said, Miss PowerAid, whoop-de-doo. I don't give a fuck. So she hung up. So I hung up the whole line. I just be paranoid like that. Then I call Miss CarMax back. We go to chopping it up, bro. We 10 minutes in. Miss PowerAid go to blowing my shit back up. I just don't answer no more. So I'm talking to her, making her feel more, secure, woo. So I'm talking to her all day the next day while she off. Miss PowerAid been blowing me up. I ain't been saying shit to her. I've been ignoring the shit out of her. Early the next morning while we on the phone, she stopped to get gas. She was like, hypothetically speaking, if you were to get a cigarette or two, you like the long packs or the short packs? I was like, the short packs. So I'm quiet. So she go in the store. I hear her say, let me get 30 on pump 2 and then the phone go on mute. I said, oh, they be finna bring me some cigarettes. Now, some of them officers are buck and be like, man, I'm not waiting on no motherfucker to come. But if something happened in the dorm, they ass to get fired or they'd get in trouble. But she was one of them type officers. She bucked. She left the door unlocked. She unlocked the gates, told us, child call or whatever the case is. So I see Miss CarMax come walking up here. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I'm already standing on the salad pole. So when she come up, I was like, good morning, beautiful. She was like, good morning, handsome. I was like, ooh, girl, give me a hug real quick. She was like, man, them people coming down. I was like, man, ain't nobody out here. And all these niggas going to chow. She said, who the hell let them off a chow? I said, man, the night shift officers yelled chow and left all this shit open. She didn't give a fuck. She left already. So she pulled some out of her pocket. She was like, huh, baby, I got this for you. It was 2 cigarettes wrapped up in some plastic. She gave me a hug. I hugged her real good. Squeezed that thing again. I was like, you working up here? She was like, nah, they ain't got me in your building. I just came up here real quick. She was like, but I got to go, though, because that sergeant going to be calling, trying to see if we at our post. I was like, all right, baby, see you later. She was like, all right, why the fuck Miss PowerAid come up here? She the flow officer for the day. Her ass is tweaking, bro. She tweaking. She keep popping my door. She keep coming in the room. Keep doing dumb shit. Then when I keep telling her, like, gee, leave me the fuck alone, folks. That's when she was like, okay, I'm about to show you. So I see her go to the blood nigga room. You know, he having a little motion, blood nigga in the door. I don't give a fuck. She go over there to his room. She in and out his room. Now she clicking his door. She got him in and out at the booth all day, all kind of shit. They call child again. I leave out. I go down there to the building the women's CarMax at. And I just been chopping it up there, you know what I'm saying? Kicking it with her for the whole time that they was going to child. I had to leave when they was coming back. And I was just telling like, man, they got this dumbass girl working up here. She was just like, man, like, I'm a pretty girl. Like, she be trying to be all gangster and manly acting. She was like, but I done fooled a lot of people. I was like, what you mean? She was like, because the way I am and how quiet I be and how nice I be, bitches be thinking they could try me. But really, I would beat the shit out of a hoe. Like, I really don't play that shit for real. I just don't like coming off that way because I like to be sweet. I want to live a soft life. I was like, yeah, bro, that shit ain't even that serious, bro. She just a stupid ass little girl. But she been fucking with this other nigga all day. So hopefully she done finna leave me alone. So she like, yeah, she better leave my man alone. So I said, ooh, I'm your man. She said, nigga, you been my man. I said, oh my God. I go back walking up to the thing. When the dorm coming back, I go back up there. As soon as I'm walking up, Miss PowerAid sitting in the salad pot, standing there. She was like, you had to go check on your bitch. I was like, bro, open the door so I could go on the dorm. She said, I ain't opening shit, nigga. Did you go check on your bitch? I said, folks, your ass is tweaking, bro. Like, what the fuck wrong with you? You finna come fuck a nigga real quick or something? Like, you act like that's what you want. What's happening? She was like, well, I ain't finna risk my job. I said, okay, leave me the fuck alone then. Fuck wrong with you? Bring a nigga a pack or something. No, that's what your bitch for. That's what your bitch for. Just being petty. I'm like, okay, can you open the door so I can go on the dorm? She said, I just sucked that blood nigga dick up there. I say, bro, at this, you just saying shit at this point. Like, bro, I don't care, bro. And I'm gonna drop a pack for that nigga. I don't care. Let me in the damn dorm, folks. She was like, nah, nigga, you gonna wait till everybody else coming to the dorm. You really be trying me. You really be trying me. Like, nigga, I'm really bipolar and schizophrenic for real. Like, I really go down here and beat this whole ass at work for real. I was like, bro, for fucking what? What did that girl do to you, G? Like, you was tripping. Me and that girl ain't even got nothing going on. She was like, you a fucking liar. I'm not stupid. I saw you with my own 2 eyes hugging that bitch. Then your ugly dog face ass gonna try to act like you doing a fucking dance. Woot, woot, woot. Like, you really be playing on my top for real, Bill. I'm like, Miss PowerAid, sweetheart, can you please let me in the dorm? Please let me in the dorm. So I ain't letting you in shit. You gonna wait. And when all them niggas came up, she finally popped the door. And, you know, I pulled it open. Everybody started walking in. Then when I try to walk in, she gonna throw her body in front of me and lock the door back. Like, just on some childish shit. I'm in my room most of the day for the rest of the remainder of the shift, you know what I'm saying? So shift change, you know, everybody leaving out. So I'm out there busting laps, but I got my phone on vibrate. I'm waiting on old girl to call me. I can answer. I got the little headphone piece in. While I'm busting laps, I see every nigga in the dorm immediately go to running towards the window. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. So when I see that, I'm slipping. I ain't got my candy bar on me. I immediately run back to my room because I'm thinking somebody on the walk they getting wet up. It's some shit popping off, and I got to make sure it ain't none of the people I run with. And if it is, I need to be on point for the people that's in this dorm. I run to the room, grab the candy bar, come running back to the thing. You see 13 running from all angles running this way, bro. Why the fuck? When I look out that window, CarMax and Miss PowerAid is on the walk hitting. Miss PowerAid keep trying to grab Miss CarMax's hair. Miss CarMax is swinging like a nigga, bro. Like, she's real life. They both doing their thing, but Miss CarMax was on that ass like white on rice, bro. So I'm like, ain't no fucking way, bro. That shit had me so mad. Miss PowerAid, little stupid ass. And she probably, and she got to be the red PowerAid, the nasty one. You know what I'm saying? Because she can't be the grape or the clear one, the good one. She the bullshit one. Nah, the orange one. Fuck that. She the orange PowerAid. Bro, that shit just had me so blowed. You see 13 come snatch both of them apart, and they walking them up the walk. They got Miss CarMax like this. Like, she's off her feet. 13 big boy carrying her whole body. And they got Miss PowerAid. They going up there to the walk. Bro, it probably was like an hour went by before she called me. She called me. She was like, yeah, baby. I said, what the fuck happened? So she was just like, bro, when the shifts was changing, they was walking out. Miss PowerAid called her a dumb bitch, and she told her, like, ho, what the fuck you keep trying me for? Woot, woot, woot. So she said she told Miss PowerAid, let's meet up somewhere. Let's leave work, meet up somewhere, and go fight. And she said, Miss PowerAid said, bitch, we ain't got to wait to nothing. Wherever it happened at is where a hoe get hit at. And she said, before she could say anything else, Miss PowerAid slapped the shit out of her. And she said, I beat the shit out her fucking ass right then and there. And I was like, so what happened at the shit when y'all went up front? And she was like, he said we both on leave because he got to do a further investigation. And of course, she was like, I told him we was just arguing about some bullshit, about some shit from the streets, because we got mutual friends, you know, just to not make it seem like it's about an inmate or whatever the case. And he said we both on leave for 2 weeks, but he gonna call back and let us know. And then the warden eventually fired both of them. And I was just like, damn, bro. But at least she didn't go to jail or nothing, you know what I'm saying? And me and Miss CarMax remained friends. Like, she left, ended up working somewhere else. And we still used to talk, kick it, all kind of shit. Miss PowerAid, I blocked her goof ass. That shit was just fucked up, bro. But people really do be crashing out at work. And that's not the only story of that. I got a couple more on officers fighting officers at work. But at the end of the day, that shit was exciting for me because that was my situation. Not the fight, but I'm saying the whole situation. It was exciting because that was my situation. I was just in prison, but don't nobody really want to be there. That's a terrible place to be. Try to the best of your ability. Stay out of shit. Don't end up there. It's your boy Bill. I'm gone.